Hello, Shalom. Welcome to day 143 of the Daily Bread. We'll be reading from the Scriptures 2009 version. We'll be reading Deuteronomy chapter 2, Isaiah chapter 3, Psalms 143, Proverbs 23, Book of Romans chapter 12. Deuteronomy chapter 2 on page 186. Then we turned and set out into the wilderness, the way of the sea of reeds. As Yahweh spoke to me, and we went around Mount Suri many days. And Yahweh spoke to me, saying, You have gone around this mountain long enough. Turn northward, and command the people, saying, You are about to pass over into the border of your brothers, the descendants of Esau, who live in Suri, and they are afraid of you. So be on your guard. You do not strive with them, for I do not give you any of their land. No, not so much as one footstep, because I have given Mount Suri to Esau as a possession. What food you buy from them with silver you shall eat, and also what water you buy from them with silver you shall drink. For Yahweh your Elohim has blessed you in all the work of your hand. He has known your wanderings through the great wilderness these 40 years. Yahweh your Elohim has been with you. You have not lacked any matter. And when we pass beyond our brothers, the descendants of Esau, who dwell in Suri, away from the way of the desert plain, away from Eleth and Etham, Gerber, we turned and passed over by the way of the wilderness of Moab. And Yahweh said to me, Do not distress Moab, nor stir yourself up against them in battle, for I do not give you any other land as a possession, because I have given Ar to the descendants of Lot as a possession. The Edomites had dwelt there formerly, a people as great and numerous and tall as Amalek. They were also reckoned with Raphaites among the Rephaim, but the Moabites called the Ammonites. And the Hittites formerly dwelt in Suri, but the descendants of Esau disposed them and destroyed them from before them, and dwelt in their place, as Israel did to the land of their possession which Yahweh gave them. Now rise up and pass over the Wadi Zered. So we passed over the Wadi Zered, and the time we took to come from Kadesh Barnea until we passed over the Wadi Zered was 38 years. Until all the generation of the men of battle was consumed in the midst of the camp, as Yahweh had sworn to them. And also the hand of Yahweh was against them, to destroy them from the midst of the camp until they were consumed. And it came to be, when all the men of battle had finally perished from among the people, that Yahweh spoke to me, saying, This day you are to pass over Ar, the boundary of Moab. And when you come near the children of Ammon, do not stress them, nor stir yourself up against them, for I do not give you any of the land of the children of Ammon as a possession, because I have given it to the descendants of Lot as a possession. That was also reckoned as the land of Raphaites. Raphaites was formerly dwelt there, but the Ammonites called them Zemunim. A people as great and numerous and tall as Amalek, but Yahweh destroyed them before them, and they disposed them and dwelt in their place, as he had done for the descendants of Esau, who dwelt in Suri. When he destroyed the Hittites from before them, they disposed them and dwelt in their place, even to this day. And the Arim, who dwelt in villages as far as Azez, the Caphtorim, who came from Caphtor, destroyed them and dwelt in their place. Arise, set out, and pass over the Wadi Ammon. See, I have given you into the hand of Sihon the Amorite, sovereign of Heshbon, and his land. Begin to possess it, and stir up yourself against him in battle. This day I begin to put the dread and fear of you upon the peoples under all the heavens, who, when they hear the report of you, shall tremble and shake because of you. Then I, Moshe, sent messengers from wilderness of Kamath to Shahan, sovereign of Heshbon, with words of peace, saying, Let me pass over through your land on the highway. I shall go on the highway and neither turn left or right. What food you sell me for silver I shall eat, and what water you give me for silver I shall drink. Only let me pass over on foot, as the descendants of Esau who dwelt in Seir and the Moabites who dwelt in Arabia did for me, until I pass over the Jordan to the land Yahweh our Elohim is giving us. But Sihon, sovereign of Heshbon, would not let us pass over. For Yahweh your Elohim hardened his spirit and strengthened his heart to give him into your hand, as it is this day. Kind of like it did with Pharaoh. And Yahweh said to me, See, I have begun to give Sihon and his land over to you. Begin to possess it in order to possess his land. And Sihon and all his people came out against us to fight at Yahatz. And Yahweh, our Elohim, gave him over to us. So we struck him and his sons and all his people. And we took all his cities at that time, and we put the men, the women, and the little ones of every city under the ban. We left no one remaining. We left none remaining. Only the livestock we took as plunder for ourselves, and the spoil of the cities which we captured. From Ariel, which is at the edge of the Wadi Arman, and the city that is by the Wadi, as far as Gilead, there was not one city too high for us. Yahweh our Elohim gave all to us. Only you did not go near the land of the children of Ammon, anywhere along the Wadi Yahub, or to the cities of the mountains, or anywhere as Yahweh our Elohim has commanded us. Isaiah chapter 3 on page 416. For look, the Master Yahweh of hosts is turning aside from Jerusalem and from Judah, the stock and the store, all the supply of bread, all the supply of water, the mighty man and the mighty men of battle, the judge, the prophet, and the divider, and the elder, the commander of 50, and the highly respected man, and the counselor, and the skilled craftsman, and the clever enchanter. And I shall make use their heads, and children shall rule over them. And the people shall exert pressure, man on his neighbor. The young rise up against the older, and the lightly esteemed, lightly glorified, against the highly esteemed. When a man takes hold of his brother in the house of his father by the garment, and says, Come, be chief over us, and let us be ruined, and let this ruin be under your hand. And he shall swear in that day, saying, I am not a hewer, for in my house is neither bread nor garment. Do not make me the chief of the people. For Jerusalem has stumbled, and Judah has fallen, because their tongue and their doings are against Yahweh, to provoke the eyes of his esteem. The look on their faces witnesses against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom. They do not hide it. Woe to their being, for they have brought upon evil to themselves. Say to the righteous, It is well, for they call the fruit of their doings. Woe to the wrong evil, for the reward of his hand is done to him. My people, exert pressure on them, and people rule and women rule over them. O my people, your leaders lead you astray, and swallow the way of your paths. Yahweh shall stand up to plead, and in standing to the judges the people. Yahweh enters into judgment with the elders of his people, and its head. It is you who have eaten up the vineyard. The plunder of the poor is in your houses. What do you mean by crushing my people and grinding the faces of the poor, declares the master of the Yahweh of hosts. And Yahweh says, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with outstretched necks and seductive eyes, walking and mincing as they go, making a jingling with their feet. Therefore Yahweh shall smite with the scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion. And Yahweh exposes their nakedness. In that day Yahweh takes away the finery of the anklets, and the headbands, and the crescents, the pendants, the bracelets, and the veils, the headdresses, and the leg ornaments, and the sashes, and the perfume bottles, and the amulets, the rings, and the nose jewels, the costly robes, and the cloaks, and the shawls, and the purses, the mirrors, and the fine linen, and the turbans, and the large veils. And it shall be, instead of a sweet fragrance, a smell of decay, and instead of a belt, a rope, and instead of well-set hair, baldness, and instead of a festal robe, a girding of sackcloth, and branding instead of loveliness. Your men shall fall by the sword, and your strength in battle. And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she, deserted, shall sit on the ground. Psalms 142 on page 726. I cry out to Yahweh with my voice. I pray to Yahweh with my voice. I pour out my complaint before him. I declare before him my distress. When my spirit grew faint within me, then you know my path and the way in which I walk. They have hidden a trap for me. Look to the right and see. Look to the right hand and see. No one is concerned for me. No refuge remains to me. No one inquires after my being. I cried out to you, O Yahweh. I said, you are my refuge, my portion in the land of the living. Listen to my cry, for I am brought very low. Deliver me from my persecutors, for they are too strong for me. Bring my being out of prison to give thanks to your name. Let the righteousness gather around me, and because you deal kindly with me. Proverbs 23 on page 749. When you sit down to eat with a ruler, look well what is before you, and put a knife to your throat if you are a man given to appetite. Do not desire his delicacies, for that food is deceptive. Do not labor to be rich. Cease from your own understanding. Do not set your eyes on that which is not, for riches certainly make themselves wings. Then fly away like an eagle to the heavens. Do not eat the bread of one having an evil eye, nor desire his delicacies. For as he reckons in his life, so is he. Eat and drink, he says to you, but his heart is not with you. You vomit the peace you have eaten, and lose your sweet words. Do not speak to the ears of a fool, for he treads on the wisdom of your words. Do not move the ancient boundary, and do not enter the fields of the fatherless. For their Redeemer, capital R, is strong. He shall plead their cause against you. Bring your heart to discipline, and your ears to the words of knowledge. Do not withhold discipline from a child. If you strike him with a rod, he does not die. Strike him with a rod, and deliver his being from Sheol. My son, if your heart shall be wise, my heart rejoices, even I, and my kidneys exult. When your lips speak what is straight, do not let your heart envy sinners, but be in the fear of Yahweh all day long. For certain there is a hereafter, and let your expectancy not be cut off. Hear, my son, and be wise, and guide your heart in the way. Be not among heavy drinkers of wine, or with gluttonous eaters of meat. For the drunkard and the glutton become poor, and slumber puts rags on a man. Listen to your father who brought you forth, and do not despise your mother when she is old. Buy the truth and do not sell it. Wisdom and discipline and understanding. The father of the righteous greatly rejoices. And he who brings forth a wise one delights in him. Let your father and your mother rejoice, and let her who bore you exult. My son, give me your heart, and let your eyes watch my ways. For a whore is a deep pit, and a strange woman is a narrow well. She too lies in wait as for her prey, and increases the treacherous among men. Who has woe? Who has sorrow? Who has contentions? Who has complaints? Who feels hurt without cause? Who has redness of eyes? Those staying long at the wine, those who going in search out mixed wine. Do not look on the wine when it is red, when it gives its color in the cup, as it flows smoothly. In the end it bites like a snake and stings like an adder. Your eyes look on strange woman, and your heart speaks perversities. And you shall be as one, lying down in the midst of the sea, as the one lying at the top of the mast, saying, They struck me, I was not sick. They beat me, I did not know. When shall I wake up? Let me seek it again. Romans chapter 12, on page 1101. I call upon you, therefore, brothers, through the compassion of Elohim, to present your bodies a living offering, set apart, well-pleasing to Elohim, your reasonable worship. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you prove what is the good and the well-pleasing and perfect desire of Elohim. For I say, through the favor, blessing which has been given to me, to everyone who is among you, do not think of himself more highly than he should think, but to think soberly, as Elohim has given to each a measure of belief. For as we have many members in one body, but all members do not have the same function. So we, the many, are one body in Messiah, and members each one of one another. Now having different gifts according to the favor blessing which was given to us, let us use them accordingly. If prophecy, according to the appropriation of belief. If serving is the serving, or is he who teaching in the teaching, or he who encourages in the encouragement, or he who is sharing in sincerity, and he who is leading in diligence, who shows compassion joyously. Let love be without hypocrisy. Shrink from what is wicked. Cling to what is good. In brotherly love, tenderly living toward one another, in appreciation, giving preference to each other. No idle in duty, ardent in spirit, serving the master, rejoicing in expectancy, enduring under pressure, continuing steadfastly in prayer, imparting the needs of the set-apart ones, pursuing kindness toward strangers. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice, and weep with those who weep. Be of the same mind toward one another. Do not be proud in mind, but go along with the lowly. Do not be wise in your own estimation. Repay no one evil for evil. Respect what is right in the sight of all men. If possible, on your part, be at peace with all men. Beloved, do not revenge yourselves, but give place to the wrath. For it has been written, Vengeance is mine, I shall repay, says Yahweh. Deuteronomy 32, chapter 32, verse 35. Instead, if your enemy hungers, feed him. If he thirsts, give him a drink. For in doing so you shall reap coals of fire on his head. Proverbs 25, verses 21 and 22. And verse 21. Do not overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Shalom. Make it a great day. Read your Bible. Talk to the Father.